Hi guys, I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of the Pre-reg corner, and I'm your hostess, Aisha. So today we're going to be talking about how much time there's left before the exam. But before that, let me give you a little bit of background to the Pre-reg corner. So what is it? Why am I here? Simply put, the Pre-reg corner is for you guys. You know that pharmacy pre-registration exam, no big deal, that tiny teeny one that allows you to qualify as a pharmacist after you've done a 4-year degree. If you fail it first, second or third time, you can't be a pharmacist anymore. Yeah, that one. Anyways, look, jokes aside, the Pre-reg corner is just a place where we can have a conversation about typical pre-reg stress, exam techniques and tricks, and hopefully a place where you can be inspired and motivated to be the most awesome version of you. Let's face it, pre-reg year can be very isolating, right? Apart from grueling, which we all know it is, it can be very isolating. You no longer have the comfort blanket of being in an academic environment 95% of your week. I'm not saying, look, don't get it twisted. Don't start saying, well, community pharmacy and hospital pharmacy and, industry is an academic environment. I'm not talking about that academic environment. I'm talking about the university academic environment, which allows you to meet your friends, turn up for the same lectures, study in the library together, have a fixed syllabus or somebody telling you, whichever lecturer it is, telling you what exam question they're going to throw into your exam, right? That one. It's all good. You don't feel like you have anybody. You're stuck. You're completely stranded. You have nowhere to go. It's fine. We got you. Look, some of you guys may be new, not knowing which notes are the best ones, right? Waiting for that one friend who promised to send them. Let me guess, they still haven't sent them. Or they said it back in December. Still, you haven't got anything. And even if they have, it's like literally nothing. We've all got those friends. I promise you we have, right? Or then you're looking for those courses which will give you the quickest answer to a pre-reg success. Yeah, that 1-day course or that 2-day course, that crazy intensive course that's just going to solve all your problems in 1 day. So, there's you guys who are doing it for the first time. But then what about everybody else, right? What about the rest of you guys who have failed it, maybe, right? So you're doing it for your second time or you're literally on your last attempt. And now you're thinking, well, I can't do it anymore. It's not enough time. I end up in the same position, etc., etc. Who cares? Right, look, whether you're doing it for the first, second, or third time, it's irrelevant. Now is the time for you guys to reinvent yourself. And that's what I'm here for. Anyways, look, I think you guys got the gist, and we've got some serious work to do. So just sit back, relax, and let's jump right into it. So the first question I get frequently asked about is it too late? I've calculated that I've got approximately 146 days, 13 hours and 20 minutes and left until the June exam, or, whatever many left towards the September exam, or maybe actually forget June, I'll do it in September because I've got so much more time. There's this many days left to June, September, etc., etc. Oh, can I still pass? Because my friend said they revised for 4 weeks and that's it. All they did, locked themselves in a room, took no holidays throughout the entire year, didn't touch any revision whatsoever from the start up until now, and now you're telling me the last 4 weeks, that's all they did. Did they though? Did they really though? The answer, nah, of course they didn't. Anyways, we'll talk about that in another video, okay? I say video, it's another episode. Jeez. Anyways, look, you're here to ask, Aisha, look, it's February. So now do I have enough time? So let's address it. The pre-reg year is stressful, am I right? Long hours, typical 9 to 6, Monday to Friday, if you're lucky, or in some cases, somebody's there Monday to Saturday. So how can you know if you have enough time? First, you need to establish what to use the time for in order to then allocate the time. So now I pose a question to you guys. What is your focus? Are calculations getting you down? Dilutions? Displacement? What is it? Or what about clinical? It might even be OTC, the irritating skin conditions. They all look the same. All the rashes look all the same. Yeah? Maybe it's the MEP. Oh, it's boring. I don't want to look through it. Either way, first you need to know what it is that you need to focus on. Then allocate the time. Then after that, ask yourself, how many hours are in a day? 24, right? So say 8 hours sleep, if you're lucky even to get that. 8 hours working, that's a given. A few hours for getting ready, traveling, etc. Food, after, during, running around. Worst case scenario, you still have about 3 hours a day to study. So from Monday to Friday, that's roughly 15 hours? Well, does that automatically mean success then if you're using those 15 hours? Well, not if you're not using them wisely. Okay, so how do we use our time wisely? How do we break it down? Let's do exactly that. All right, so whether you're the best or the worst at calculations, I'm being serious now. Even if you're getting like 89%, 90%, 95%, you think, oh, I'm the dawn of dilutions, I'll blitz this one, right? You still should commit to calculations every day, right? Because it's very easy to lose a practice. That, again, we'll discuss in another episode. But now the next thing that most people ask me is, so how many calculations should I do? The answer to that is there is no number. The reason? Simple. If you're doing 10 calculations every single day, for example, you hate dilutions, and then you think, don't worry, I still got 8 out of 10, I'm doing great. You are if then at some point you're investing the time into learning how to do dilutions. Right? Because 2 of those questions out of the 10, they may have been dilutions. But in another exam, there could have been 5 of those questions could have been dilutions. That's then a difference. If you're not understanding how to do them, then you're missing out on 5 marks. Right? It may take 1 hour for you to understand how to do dilutions, maybe 3 hours, anything like that, right? But the point is, it's invested time. So then, after you've invested those 3 hours without procrastinating about, oh my God, I spent 3 hours on just dilutions. No, it then means after that you can do any dilution calculation that comes up. Either that, or you can learn from a new type of dilution question. So maybe it's asked in a completely different way. Maybe it's the same thing, but you don't recognize the exam style. Still, it's important to allocate a particular time of the day to do calculations, whether it's morning, evening, or night. What I personally did, what I recommend to my students to do is to allocate the morning time. Because it's generally the quietest time of the day. You're not putting strain on your eyes and feeling the pressure during the night. And you've also got the opportunity to find the answer throughout the day. So say, for example, you could share it on on a WhatsApp group in the morning before work. And then maybe some really kind soul has kind of done the working and then shared it back on the WhatsApp group before you even get back from work, right? Or when there's some quiet time in the pharmacy, your tutor may be able to help. Those of you who are lucky to have a really nice tutor, right? Not all of us did have or do have, right? But again, it gives you the allowance during the day to maybe possibly have somebody else to give you a bit of a hand. There's also another concept that I want to talk about maybe in another episode, which is about mimicking, and it relates to this. So if I forget, please guys do remind me, but we'll get into that a bit later. What about nighttime? Nighttime for calculations. If you do it at night, that may work for some of you guys who may be a bit more confident with calculations. But my issue with that is it also introduces some poor habits, i.e. working till late, being sleep deprived, and then being desperate for sleep the next day, like a zombie at work. And then after that, you get into those habits, and then you might introduce new excuses. Or the reason I didn't round to 1 decimal place yet is because I was tired, but it's fine. It's no big deal. I won't make that mistake in the exam, fam. No problem. Won't you, fam? Are you sure? You might not if you learn from the mistake, but never underestimate a mistake because it could cost you an easy mark. For that, you need to have focus. You need to look at your calculations, look back and decide where I went wrong and make sure I never do that again. Right? There are some of you who's going to travel to work via train. Tell me, what do you think? Do you think at that point it's probably a good time to do calculations? Probably not, due to noise, the divided focus of hoping you'll know when to get off your train, and then pack everything up, rushing. Probably not a good idea. Yeah, don't do calcs on the train. Seriously, just don't do it. I mean, if there's that one person who's super genius and they're doing on the train, and then fine. If that's working for you, that's great. Okay, but majority of you guys, you guys like me, the average person, yeah, just don't do it. It'll stress you out. You don't need that stress. You don't need the drama before work. Okay, look, so I've talked about calcs. There's the rest of you guys thinking about, what about clinical? Okay, so clinical. How do you fit clinical during work hours or after work, etc.? I'll tell you, it's simple. You prioritize the workload. Think about it. Does it make sense to read the BNF on a high-weighted chapter, like chapter 2, after you're tired from work and then nothing goes in? Right? So suddenly, digoxin or amiodarone, which is going to be your high-risk drugs, now suddenly don't make sense when you come back and you're tired. You're looking at 8 o'clock at night and then you're on the verge of tears. Okay, probably not. Maybe it would be probably a better idea to dedicate a full Saturday or a full Sunday to make focused notes on it. But then if you get anxiety of letting go of the BNF, you're thinking, no, how can she tell me not to touch the BNF? I need to read the BNF. That's fine. You just have a different approach. Yeah? Anything to reduce your workload and to utilize the time efficiently. So you could read the BNF during the week with a highlighter, highlight the important information that you want to include in your notes, and then simply make your notes during the weekend or when some of you might actually have a half day at work. Lucky. But that makes more sense because at that point you would have had a weekend, hopefully you had some decent sleep, nice breakfast at home, etc., etc. Now all you need to do is look from the BNF, see what's highlighted, sit there, and basically you're copying. However, in that time that you've been reading throughout the week, even if you think very little has actually gone in, I promise you, more has gone in than you know. But now because you're focused, now things will start becoming familiar. So it'll be kind of like when you're writing your notes, you're typing your notes out, then you're doing it for the second time round already. So you're revising something essentially twice. Okay, maybe you don't even want to do it that way, right? So you might want to do MEP, an OTC during the week because they're still important. It's not that they're not. They are still very important. Okay? It makes sense. They're shorter topics. There are a lot of topics, but they're shorter topics. So your attention span and your focus may be higher during the week thinking, okay, well, let me just quickly go over oral thrush. And let me look at 1 or 2 of the treatments. Yeah, okay, that's comparatively a lot smaller than, say, a whole chapter of chapter 2 or CNS, which some of you guys really don't like because you think it's too long. It's like 2 chapters in that thing. I'm getting depressed thinking about it. I agree. No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll deal with it. No problem. Okay, so you're thinking about maybe MEP, OTC. Maybe you want to do them, maybe not. Maybe you still want to do the BNF, but maybe something like a smaller chapter. So chapter 11, right? I. Maybe you want to look at the important information from the front of the BNF, something which tells you about morphine conversions, palliative care, or at the back of the BNF, so you're covering medical emergencies. Either way, there's a way which you guys can pick and choose what you want to revise, and there's always a way of how to revise it. Simply put, these are just options of how you can use your time effectively. It's not about how many hours somebody else is doing, so according to that, you then have no chance because you're not doing as much as them. We can choose what to do with our time and how to utilize it, right? If you want to go onto Instagram, you can go onto Instagram. If you want to go on YouTube, you listen to all my videos, that'd be awesome. Anyways, just don't do that for a very long time. You've literally got the tools in your hands to pick up, decide what to do. Pen to paper, this is what I'm struggling with, I don't like it, let's figure out how to revise, right? So one of the videos I used, I came across this the other day actually, it's a really good video. It's one of those motivational ones, right? And they use all the dramatic sound effects and stuff, but it's so good. It's really good. So what I'll do is I'll drop a link in the description below, right? But for now, I give you an example, right? About a third-time student last year. So she was a student from last year, now she's turned pharmacist, and how she used her time. So she was hungry, like she was desperately hungry to pass on her third attempt, but she literally just didn't know how. She didn't know how to use her time. She didn't know what direction she needed to go in, nothing. Really intelligent, just, yeah, she can't do it. She doesn't know how to. So she said to me, look, Aisha, I've made my notes on chapters 1 to 6, like you said, now I'm sorted. I'm really, really happy. So, okay, right. Let's calm down for a second. Okay, 1 to 6? Yes, if you've done that, that's great, awesome. But what about chapters 7 all the way to 16? Yeah, well, those ones I don't really like anyway, so I'll just use somebody else's notes. Yeah, the summarized notes, yeah? What do you think? So I said, I think you're kind of underestimating the exam. And if you've done chapters 1 to 6, you put so much time in those notes, why stop now? Well, I don't have time to do it. I said, okay, you can't invest time into revising for the exam, then you got to make sure you're prepared for the consequences. Poor thing, she looked at me and she's like, that's harsh. I work Monday to Saturday until 7 o'clock. How am I going to fit it in? So, my crazy target, I said this. I literally said, okay, chapter 7, you start on Monday. By Sunday, you have to have finished chapter 16. Yeah, wake up earlier than work, than you generally do. So in her case, I said wake up at 6. Most chapters are relatively small, bar chapter 14 and maybe skin, depending on how you tackle them. So she said, okay, off she went. And I was just like, all right, fine. Text me when you're done. Right, what was my logic? That is a lot to ask of a person. You guys are probably thinking I'm the worst person in the world. But in my head, I was thinking, if she achieves 50% of it, then that's awesome, right? But she's going to use that time and then she'll get used to it, right? She doesn't like the chapters. Nobody likes chapters 7 to 16 when you think, I've just been a don and finished 1 to 6. Now I've got 7 all the way to 16. Nobody wants to sit there and do them, Right, but then what happened? She rang me Saturday night and said, I've done chapter 16 and now I'm just tired. No, I was thinking, I was just shocked. I just didn't know what to say. A whole week, she didn't do one, she only just managed to do one chapter. Chapter 16, that's it, really? Really? She said, no, Aisha, I did chapter 7 to 16. It was grueling, it was horrible, but I woke up at 6, I committed to it, like you said, for a short time, but oh my days, it was the most efficient work I've done. I'm so glad I did it. I was relieved. First, I was shocked that she did from chapter 7 to 16, because that is a big ask, right? But she did it. Yeah, full-time work, she lives out of home, all of that, right? She just sat, committed to it. Short amount of time, most effective work. Small goals, small amount of time, not giving yourself 2-3 weeks to do chapter 7 all the way to 16. No, sit there, focus, get it done. She went, she owned it, she did it. So simple, guys. Use your time. Don't be afraid of how much time is left. That's what anxiety does to you. Yeah, we think about all the things that could go wrong and things that might not work. We don't think about the one scenario I'm going to be a pharmacist. It's going to be so awesome. Yeah, don't be scared of a calendar. If somebody says, you've got this many days. Number one, if somebody's starting to tell you you've got this many days, ignore them, right? Because that's just not helpful. But now, turn it around, right? Turn time around, organize it, manipulate it, own it. You know better than me how you revise best. Yeah, don't leave it to last minute, cram, and magically hope that only revising in the last 4 weeks is going to miraculously allow you to smash the pre-reg exam. Be a boss. Look, on that note, guys, I'll let you start planning your time, getting your calendars, your diaries, everything. Get to planning. Right? So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really hope you've enjoyed the first episode of the Pre-reg Corner. Leave a like, comment, share and subscribe. Pretty please if you did. And if you're struggling, share your story. It would be great to understand the challenges you guys are facing. I'd like to read them. If it helps any of you guys, sharing, offloading. Obviously, don't sit there for the next 5 hours and say, well, Aisha told me to do it and, so I've just wasted time now. No. You need a bit of direction, anything, just drop it in the comments below. I'm not the most awesome person in the world, but what I'm saying is you guys can do it. You have the time. It is February. The question of the video, do I have enough time? Answer is, yes, you do. As long as you use it wisely. We still haven't even hit March yet. February, March, April, May, and the whole of June as well. Most of June, right? Let's say 3 weeks of June. But look, until next time, guys, keep working, keep your head down, keep focused, utilize that time, right? Make the most of it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.